Good morning, beautiful people. Making myself a little cup of Jerky coffee. And I was just thinking about learning a new skill. And I wanted to take you back to high school, middle school, maybe, depending. And offer you the question, do you remember taking a foreign language class? Do you remember, have you ever taken a class to learn a new language? And if so, do you remember the context of that class, what you did, the progression of the class, the intention of the class to learn the language through repetition, right? Exposure and repetition. And your teacher would likely have expected you to complete certain assignments during the class, during the course. And those assignments would progressively build upon whatever was relevant during the class, the curriculum that you were covering week to week throughout the entirety of the course. And they would expect you to do that homework. And if you didn't do the homework, then you wouldn't pass the class because your teacher wouldn't know if you actually were practicing or not, getting in your reps or not. And come test day, you get 100% on the test. You're absolutely flawless. But then ultimately, you still only get like a 70% in the class because 30% of the course was weighted on homework. And you didn't complete any homework. So your coach, your teacher didn't know that you had done the work. And ultimately, even if you do pass the test, you get the results at the end. That's the primary goal, right? The reason why you signed up is so that way you can speak the new language. And if you get there, that's cool. But if you can do so in a way that openly communicates to your teacher, to your coach, helps your teacher help you learn the language better. If you were to have done that homework, could you speak the language better than not doing the homework? Probably. Even if you got 100% on the test isn't really the relevant intention, right? The test is a marker, an indicator, a parameter that you can speak the language. But speaking the actual language in real life is the important part. And that just comes through repetition, right? Which is the whole point the teacher assigned the homework in the first place, is to ultimately help you practice what you want to get good at doing. And you get good at doing it by practicing it through intentional repetition. So even if you pass the test, the parameter ultimately, or you hit your weight loss goal, ultimately the weight loss, the new language is meant to be used in real time, in context. That new healthy body, that new healthy weight achievement. Like once you get there, you just, you use that skill, you use the structure that got you there to learn that language, to learn the language of health, the skill of eating healthy and all that. And if you have a coach that can help you in that process, get to point A to point B faster or more efficiently, or be able to know more by the time you get to the point B if you had the coach versus not, why wouldn't you want to utilize that resource? And how would you just imagine like the kid going to class and being like, I did the homework, teacher. I just didn't bring it to class. Or I did it in my head, but I didn't actually write it down. Like the teacher you wouldn't do that. You'd be like, that's silly. My dog ate my homework. That's silly. Like I would just do the fucking thing and bring my homework to class and like show my teacher and do what is expected of me, fulfill my duties that I'm responsible for prior to the commencement of this original agreement. Hence the conversation about expectations. Like, yeah, this is what you got to do to pass Spanish 101. You got to do homework, you got to do quizzes, and you got to do tests. And like to just go up to your teacher and be like, well, yeah, I mean, like I did the homework, but I just don't have it here to show you. The teacher's going to be like, cool. Like what's the point? Same thing with tracking, and the same thing in this relationship with my clients is I expect you to communicate to me, update me fill in your sheets, your weekly check-ins, fill in your workout forms, do your homework. You got to do your homework, because not only ultimately is it helping you get where you want to go, why you gave me your money and signed up in the first place, is so that you can get to this place that you haven't been before or haven't been able to maintain before through the guidance of a coach. And the coach is guiding you, recommending you to do these things out of experience, right? If you don't do those things, would you expect to get to the goal? If you don't shoot the free throws, don't expect to get better at shooting free throws. You know, you got to put in these reps. You have to put conscious awareness on, energy and effort and time on these new skills that you want to develop. Whatever it may be: gaining muscle, losing fat, eating healthy food, meditating, getting better sleep, showing up better in your relationships, in your community, in your work, improving upon your digestive, on and on and on, getting better sunlight, managing stress levels more efficiently, repurposing your environment in a more efficient way to optimize your flow, your productivity, your health, and so on, your well-being. So I'm ultimately just trying to provide you with tools and strategies to implement into your daily life that are going to get you the results you want. And if you shift your perspective from John's giving me homework to these are literally the things that I'm going to do for the rest of my life when I'm healthy, not after I achieve health, I'll stop doing these things. After I lose the weight, I'll stop eating healthy food. After I rehab my injury, I'll stop moving my body. No, it's not about that. It's a lifestyle. You have to find enjoyment in these things. You have to that's why I say do what you love what you do. Go outside, play, experiment with different recreational activities, go hiking, see what you like to do, try everything, and then implement that over and over. But the foundational practices of moving and breathing and eating and sleeping like an optimally functioning human being, like a responsible adult, those things don't change for everybody. And so I'm just trying to give you roadmaps to be able to put time and effort towards those things in the most efficient, easy way that gets you to ultimately living those habits every day, where you don't need to track it, because that's the thing that you got to do to speak Spanish. You got to put in the reps to speak Spanish. Anybody that knows you practiced a language when you were a kid for a couple of years and then you stopped speaking it, what happened? You don't have the ability to speak that language as you did. If you got back on the wagon and practiced really good for a few weeks, what would happen? It'd probably come back quicker, because there's somewhere in there, it's in there. A little bit of it's left in there somewhere. So the point is just to put in the intentional time and effort via repetition to build these skills. And everything that I've implemented into your programming is an opportunity for you to cultivate and build these skills using the structure of tracking, using the structure of the app and the schedule to tell you on Monday do this, Tuesday do this, at 9 a.m. do this, at 7 p.m. do this. So it's an opportunity to provide you with the structure that will get you where you want to go. And because you're going to have to do those things anyway, and by tracking them, then I know where you're at on that journey. Are you in first grade Spanish, or are you in sixth grade Spanish? Are you at low level, or are you at high level? Are you implementing 40% of the habits I ask you to implement? Or are you implementing all of them and you're ready for more? I don't know if I don't have the data. I need the data to know where you are. It would be silly if you hired a hiking guide to hike you up Mount Rainier, but then you didn't hike with him, or you made him wear a blindfold so he never knew where you were. If I don't know where you are, how can I help you in reference to the mountain you're trying to climb and say go left, right, up, down? I don't know, because I don't know where you are right now in time and space based on the lack of information, the lack of communication, the lack of data. So, if you want to go hike Mount Rainier by yourself and you've got your own path and it's going to take you longer, but that's okay, that's cool. But you paid me as your hiking guide to take you up Mount Rainier in the most efficient way. And if you want me to, come smell the roses with you, I'm fine taking time to get up to the top of Mount Rainier. I'm in no rush. I just want you to get to where you want to go. But you paid me for the most efficient route. And unless you communicate to me, hey, we're going to take our time. I've got real life, 2 kids, a lot of things going on. I may not be able to keep up with all those things. Okay, let's back it off. Thank you. You know what you just did? You communicated to me. You didn't say my dog ate my homework. You said, I have real life and this is too much homework, or that's not the priority right now. This is the priority this week. This happened. Family and work and relational things come up. That's totally fine. Communicating those and giving us a reference point to pivot on based on data, objective data, is when you're working in a relationship like this, that's really important. I need the data to be able to reference where you are and then ultimately continue to reflect back. Is this where you want to go? Are we going in the right direction for you? Yes or no? So the feedback is going to help me continue to appropriate your program, to continue to progress your program in a way that's most optimal for you. But at the end of the day, I just want you to get the results that you want, that you said you wanted in the beginning. And everything that I have in your program is an opportunity to do just that. And so don't think of these things as obligations. Think of them as opportunities. They're opportunities for you to cultivate these skills that are going to turn you into the person who has the things that you want to have and feels the way that you want to feel in the future. That future you does those things that makes them feel good. So that way, then you can go out into your life and have a different perspective. All the things that you want that are embodied in that other person that you want to be, here are the behavior patterns and the things that that person is doing in their future life. That version of you in the quantum reality that's living that certain way, they do different things than you do right now. Otherwise, that person wouldn't be different. It would be you right now, right? That's the whole point of a quantum possibility in the future, is it's different, which means that the expression of that human being, the effect of that human being is rooted in different causes, behaviors, thoughts, words, actions, habits, right? Those are the things that day after day after day create who you are. Your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors, your actions, your mind, your emotion, and your body create your personality. Your thoughts and your feelings and your values and your beliefs and your identities and your expressions and your habits create your personality. Your personality is your personal reality. And that person that you are now, living the life the way that you're living, experiencing the effect of a certain combination of causes, is not the same person that is in effect expressing themselves in a different, healthier way that you perceive in the future as who you want to be. You need to change who you are now. You need to change the causes to create a different effect. So that way, over time, you become that person that you want to be by doing the things that that person would do. And those are the things that I'm trying to help instill into your life as little habits, consistent little habits that you implement, bring awareness to. Drinking enough water, getting out in nature, getting enough sunlight, getting the right types of food, the right amounts of food, getting the right types and amounts of movement and exercise, and so on and so on. Giving you the opportunity to instill those thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that then will create the embodiment of that person that you want to be. The expression of the effect comes forth through the daily chopping of the wood and carrying of the water. And these are the things. Chopping your wood is tracking your food. Carrying your water is hitting me up on instant messenger and logging your food tracker, your weekly tracker, your daily tracker, your workout tracker every day. Those are the important things that need to get done to put water to boil on the stove. You know what I'm saying? You need wood to start the fire. You need water to boil the pot of water so you can make tea, to feed yourself. It's that cycle of action. Inspired action. These are the things that are going to bring you into alignment with that version of yourself that inspires you now. Inspired action. Do the things that inspire you now in relation to who you want to be when you think about how that person in the future is living their life, how that version of you in the future is living your life. Let that be your guiding source of inspiration. Think about the way that the person who you want to be would behave. What would that person do in a day? Probably read a book, go out for a walk, meditate, be kind to other people, exercise, experience life, and be grateful for this somatosensory experience, and then go forth and utilize this vehicle to engage with that experience as fully as you can, just because of the opportunity that presents itself, because why not experience life to the fullest? Chop the wood, carry the water. Communicate. Think about who you want to be and think about what you would be doing differently than you are now, and focus on doing those things. Aho.